There are right, two more steps. We call them online assessment. Like in online assessment, there will be extempore and right personal interview. Right. So you all are aware that in right extempore you have to evaluate the data that they are providing. Sometimes they are giving you two topics. Sometimes they will give you the one topic. Right. You have to think about those, and then you have to present related to those topic. You can present your view related to those topic within 2-3 minutes maximum, right? And then there will be personal interview, right? So which topic they are going to present or which topic you will get, right? We cannot predict them, right? But one thing I would like to mention about the interview as well as extempore, right? Whenever you are moving with the process of interview, no matter this is for TES or M.Sc psychology in any university, right? You have to keep one thing in mind. Interview is all about the communication, and interview is all about how you are presenting yourself. Interview is not about how much you know, because in interview at that particular time, if they will ask any question, and chances are there that you will not be aware. Chances are approx 50-50. We can take example like either you know the answer, either you don't know the answer. No matter how much time you devoted to psychology, no matter right how much dedication you presented to psychology, but still right we cannot complete each and everything in psychology. Like could possible that what kind of right question they are asking you are not aware. Could possible what kind of question they are asking you will be aware about those. If you are not aware about something, you cannot make answer in between the interview. If you are going to make answers, if you don't know, if you are clueless and then you are making the answer, right, that will be a disaster. So whenever the first suggestion is, whenever you don't know the answer, right, if you are not aware, you are clueless, right, deny very politely, right, I am not aware. It happened, right, whenever individual participating in UPSC right interview, whenever any individual participating in MPhil, in any right interview, if they don't know the answer, right, we have to accept them as quickly as possible. So they are right not involving with that question कि चलो ठीक है मैंने question पूछा, they don't know. If you don't know, just politely right mention those, so they will ask another question, right? That simply means what I would like to mention here, interview is not about what you know, how much awareness you are having, right? If you know about right certain things, right, that's great, that's good, or we are expecting those, but it is all about how you are presenting that particular right answer, right? So if you know something, right, how you will present them, right? So it's all about presentation rather, right, evaluation of knowledge, right? Individual in interview, they want to understand what kind of personality you are having. Suppose that if I am giving you a topic like in India, right, what do you think? We have to discuss Oedipus and Electra complex. What is your opinion, right? You have to present those opinions, suppose that in extempore. So each and every individual having their different opinion, right? So they just want to understand what kind of opinion they are having, you are having, right? How you are expressing those opinions, right? So it's all about understanding your personality. It's also, no doubt, it's also about how much knowledge you are having in psychology, how much information you are holding related to psychology, no doubt about it. But you cannot expect कि मुझे सब कुछ आता होगा. What kind of questions they are asking, right? मुझे सब कुछ आता ही होगा. You need to be ready. If you don't know the answer, right, how you can manage them, right, how you can tackle them, right? So first, just accept. If you don't know, that's okay. No one is there in whole universe they can say I know everything, right? If they know everything, right, basically they will be God, right? And we all are human beings. So chances are there that right few questions will be there, you will not be aware. Accept them, and if you know the answer, right, then you must behave like a fighter. You must behave like a right strategist, like how to answer them. If you know the answer, how to answer them. So mainly, right, I am going to give you certain tips how we can answer, right, what we can do before the interview and all. So let's begin. So there are few tips, right? These are the common tips for all the interview. First of all, chances are there that what kind of data you are mentioning in the form or what kind of explanation you are mentioning in extempore, they will ask question from those. Chances are too high because those individuals who are taking interview, they are also aware ki how a person, how an individual will be aware about everything. So what kind of, right, explanation you are mentioning and what kind of, right, information you provided to them, chances are very high that you will get information, you will get questions, related to those. Like if you mention, I did my internship at ABC place and I learned this particular therapy, this particular skills, this particular test, chances are very high that they will ask question related to those. So I'm very hopeful that if you wrote something in your DAF, right, so you are aware about all those, there are nothing, misleading. You did so, that's why you mentioned over there. And if you think, okay, I mentioned over there, but I am not well aware about that particular topic, right, then you can do one thing, right, just go with those particular topic in brief. So at least, right, you have something to mention, so they will understand, okay, you have basic information. They don't want कि आप expert के तरीके से behave करो. They are not finding expert, they are finding a student, a good student, right, who have potential to be a good psychologist, right, they will serve the nation in the future. So they are just going to find those kind of individual, those kind of student. They are not finding expert, right? So you have to keep this thing in mind. So if you have added something and if you think कि नहीं मुझे इस पे और थोड़ी information collect करनी चाहिए, collect information about all those, right? This is the first step, right? Second, be prepared about right, few answers. Like, tell me about yourself. We take this particular question too lightly. Okay, right, they are just mentioning, tell me about, right, yourself, so I will be able to mention something, right, कुछ ना कुछ mention कर ही देंगे. But you have to understand one thing. Whenever interviewee mentioning this question, tell me about yourself, that means I am expecting, suppose that I am in the panel, so I am expecting this answer will be the best because this is the thing that you know the best, right? Like if any individual asking me to tell me about myself, so इस world में ये जो concept है ना, who is, right, who you are, right, कि मैं कौन हूँ, right, basically ये तो हमें बहुत अच्छे से पता है, right, होना भी चाहिए, right. So whenever they are asking this particular question, who you are, right, tell me about yourself, so you have to answer them, right, very effectively, right. And this is not only about your name, where you are living, from where you have completed your, right, education, where you did internship. You have to keep one thing in mind, what you are going to mention over there, what you are going to, right, mention, right, which point you are going to mention, you can lead the interview, right. So a smart participant lead their interview, right, they control their interview. We always thinking कि जो interview ले रहा है, they can control my interview, but ये 50-50% है, right. You can also lead your whole interview. So what kind of content you are adding whenever you are explaining something, most probably you can find they are going to ask question from those points only. So suppose that you are telling, right, you are mentioning about yourself, you mentioned your name, right, what you did, what kind of education you have completed, there are so many things. Then at the end, you said, I have interest in this particular topic, that's why I did internship at ABC place. Now you are giving them cue, right, and consciously, unconsciously, they will be, right, that means what I mean to say, chances will be higher, that, your interview will ask question from those. So use this particular question very smartly. Whenever they are mentioning, tell me about yourself, take them as opportunity to control your whole interview. At the end, whenever you are going to finish about yourself, at the end, try to mention few topics in which you are strong enough, you are good enough, right? So if they are asking the question related to those topics, you will be able to explain them very effectively. You will be able to impress them. Whenever they are asking any kind of questions, at the end, in the last paragraph, right, whenever you are just going to finish the interview, just try to add, something in which you are strong enough, right? ऐसा भी नहीं लगना चाहिए कि unnecessary उसने add कर दिया, but try to add something. Like if any individual asking me about myself, so smartly I will add something at the end, like I have interest in this particular field, that's why I did internship from here, because I'm very keen in this topic, because I know if they will ask question from this topic, I will be able to handle them, manage them, or I will be able to answer them effectively. So use this strategy, right? Don't take any question very lightly, and take question as an opportunity, right, to control or to lead your interview. And if you don't know the answer, please do not hesitate to mention, right, you don't know, right? Because suppose that you don't know the answer, and if you are engaged, right, and you are trying to answer them, but if your answer is wrong, then that will create extremely bad impression on all the panelists. There will be approx 3-4 panelists, on all the panelists there will be bad impression, right? Because यहाँ दो point है ना, एक तो उनको पता चल रहा है, if they are asking any question, most probably they know the answer. If there are any direct question, so they know the answer. If they know the answer, so you cannot make them round, the first thing. And second thing, whenever you are taking time to answer something but in a wrong way, so they are processing about your personality, right, for that much of time. हम जितना टाइम तक किसी क्वेश्चन का गलत आंसर देते हैं, they are thinking about my answers. So ये बहुत नेगेटिव हो जाता है. But when you mention very quickly that you don't know, you mention, right, this thing very politely and quickly, so they will ask next question and maybe they will forget कि अच्छा मैंने 2-3 क्वेश्चंस पूछे थे ऐसे भी जो उनको नहीं पता था. So that will not create much bad impact. But अगर एक ही क्वेश्चन का आंसर मैं 5 मिनट तक I am trying to answer and they are cross questioning, because whenever you are mentioning something wrong, maybe they will cross question, so you will be in trap and your whole interview, right, will go in negative direction, right? So ये ध्यान रखना है. This is very important. And third, next, no matter you are participating, right, in online mode or offline mode, right, ये दोनों के लिए applicable है. In both, you have to do one thing. You need to look professional, right? We can take example. Whenever we are going for any birthday party, whenever we are going for any marriage, or whenever we are going for, at ABC place, right, we take care of our attire, right, कि मुझे पहन के क्या जाना है. Similarly, whenever you are participating in any interview, just take care of your dresses, कि मुझे वहाँ professional दिखना है. Whenever you look professional, right, that giving you, that means you are just passing the impression that you are serious about this particular interview, you are serious about this particular topic. You all are aware about the halo effect, right? So that works as halo effect. So if you look professional, so individual thinks, okay, you are really very serious about this particular interview, right? So do this particular thing. So there are these, right, few tips. The another, if you don't know the answer, and if you know the answer, maintain a tempo whenever you are speaking. What happens usually, whenever teacher or interviewee mentioning or presenting any question, panelist presenting any question, and if you don't know, our tempo pitch going down, like I don't know. That means, your body expression, body language, your facial expression, right, will reflect them that you are in discomfort situation. Whenever you know the answer, your body language, your facial expression will be too excited. So they know they are very excited. Try to maintain them. Try to maintain the tempo. Try to maintain, right, pitch, right? No matter. Just imagine you are a psychologist and you are dealing with a client. So how you are reacting, right? You are reacting, right, with a particular pitch. That means your pitch, your tone, your expression, most of the time, right, will be in a frame, right, in a range. Try to behave like that. That means reflect नहीं होना चाहिए. Like if you don't know, so that creating impact on you, and if you know, so बहुत excitement में, right, don't try to answer very quickly. You don't try to mention so many things in a shorter duration. Take your time. If you know the answer, first of all, wait to finish their answer, their question. When they are finishing them, then start presenting the answer. Take your time. Try to explain each and everything in very crisp and clear manner, right? So बहुत hurry में नहीं रहना, right? So these are the few things that we are suggesting. Another thing that we have to take in mind, not only for this, for all interview, whenever you are participating in online mode, you need to be ready at least 15 to 20 minutes earlier. You need to be there in front of system or in front of, right, technology. If you are going somewhere, if you are reaching somewhere physically, right, then we are suggesting them to reach at least, right, 40-45 minutes earlier, right? So all these things are there. So maybe chances are very high that they will begin with, tell me about yourself, or maybe they will begin with that you have added this particular this particular information in DF. So they will directly begin with right, any point, like if you have mentioned, okay, I did internship there and I learned this therapy, I learned this technique, learned this skills or this knowledge I have accumulated. So they will begin with those, right? Maybe chances are there that they can ask why you are interested in tests, right? So I think, right, you worked on that particular topic, you are already aware कि बोलना क्या है, because we have to mention in DAF and right, many individual mentioning in DAF, right? So the basic thing is, first you have to accept no one can answer all the questions, right? Maybe it will be possible, chances are there that you don't know few answers, so you have to accept them. Second, right, as I told you, right, whenever they are asking the question related to you, tell me about yourself, take them as an opportunity, right? कि इसके आंसर को प्रेजेंट कैसे करना है, so chances will be higher कि मुझे किस टॉपिक से क्वेश्चन चाहिए, right? So I just want to make the chances higher कि ऐसे क्वेश्चंस आए, right? So I mentioned कि क्या करना क्या है. At the end, right, smartly you have to add, right, topics, or you have to, right, give them a clue कि ठीक है, I'm interested in this, I did this, right, I'm interested in this kind of content, I read this author. That means anything. If you are thinking कि मुझे यहाँ से क्वेश्चन चाहिए, मेरे पास 2-3 टॉपिक है and I want कि मुझे इसी दोनों टॉपिक से क्वेश्चन चाहिए, add them smartly whenever you are answering, right? And last but not least, don't try to be philosophical at the time of answering. Like if they are asking practical questions, answer them practically. If they are mentioning why you want to be a psychologist or clinical psychologist or counselor psychologist, right, don't try to be philosophical, right? Don't try to mention any answer on the basis of philosophy कि okay, I am realizing कि okay, there are so many problems in the society, I just want to solve those particular problems. If this is genuine, if you opted this particular course for this reason, then definitely you can mention this, right? But if you selected this particular course, right, just because any other things, like many individual mentioning, sir, in my graduation I opted psychology just because I found this topic interesting, or many individual mentioning when I taken career counseling, so this option they have provided to me, and when I went with the article, so I found my interest in psychology. During the graduation, right, I did internship in industrial, in counseling, in clinical, in different fields I did internship. Relatively, I found this particular topic interestingly, and I'm thinking I made for this particular branch of psychology. I just want to be this kind of professional. I'm just I will just enjoy when I will become, right, this profession, this professional. So basically this kind of answer you can mention, right? But you need to be practical. If they are mentioning or they are asking practical questions, so you have to be practical. You cannot be philosophical at that time. But if that are true, yes, you have selected this particular course just because you want to go in social service, then why not? You can mention them, but try to be genuine, try to be practical, because panelist का काम ही यही है. In a whole day they are just taking interview. So suppose that they are talking to, right, 25-30 individuals in a day, right, or maybe 20 individuals in a day. So they know कि अलग अलग जगह से अलग अलग, right, स्टूडेंट से क्या रिस्पॉन्स आ रहा है. And most of the philosophical answer will be the same, right? Why you want to be a clinical psychologist? Because I want to solve this particular problem, right? Like if you really feel it, if you really selected this particular topic just because of that reason, then, right, that is your take, just move ahead. But if not, right, if you selected for another reason, mention those reasons, because that reason will be more practical, right, if you, right, mention them, right? So these are the, right, few things that you have to keep in mind. And one thing at the end I always mentioning, no one in this universe, even professor in college, or maybe, right, head of a certain department, know everything from any particular discipline, right? No one can say I know everything, right? So we all are a student, right? You are also a student. So chances are there that you don't know few answers if they are mentioning something. So do not hesitate and just be confident. Just after those particular questions जिसका आंसर मुझे नहीं पता, वहाँ भी अपने confidence को lose बिल्कुल भी नहीं होने देना. You need to maintain a tempo, you need to maintain a body language, you need to maintain expression, and with that particular expression, right, you can answer all the questions, right? So they are not finding the students who know everything in psychology. They are finding those kind of students who have characteristics and personality to be a good psychologist, be a good professional, right? So उनको एक कोई what we can say, कोई ऐसा इंडिविजुअल नहीं चाहिए जो थियोरेटिकली बहुत स्ट्रांग हो, राइट, बट राइट वो बहुत अच्छा प्रोफेशनल ना बन पाए, बहुत अच्छा साइकोलॉजिस्ट ना बन पाए, बट देन दे आर थियोरेटिकली दे आर वेरी स्ट्रांग. They don't want this kind of individual. They want कि yes, theory भी अच्छी हो, and at the same time they must have those kind of characteristics जो इस profession के लिए, जो psychologist बनने के लिए necessary हैं, right? Candidate must having these kind of, right, characteristics, right? That means directly, indirectly, you have to present yes, this is my life. Psychology is my life. You cannot say it, psychology is my life and I'm very keen in psychology. You cannot mention it. But indirectly, you have to reflect this. And how you will reflect? If any individual will be keen in psychology, if any individual will be interested in psychology, so from the early stage of their life, maybe, from the mid graduation or from the beginning of the graduation, they will be, right, engaged in a certain task related to psychology. If any individual is highly interested in certain topic, like if any individual saying I'm very interested in cognitive behavior therapy, that simply means दूसरे के कंपैरिजन में इसके पास ज़्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन होगी, ज़्यादा नॉलेज होगा, बिकॉज दे आर सेइंग और दे आर क्लेमिंग दैट दे आर इंटरेस्टेड इन दिस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक. सो इफ एनी इंडिविजुअल इज इंटरेस्टेड इन एनी टॉपिक, सो दे मस्ट हैविंग मोर नॉलेज, more information, right? So you are reflecting your interest, you are reflecting your keenness by what you did in the past and how you are approaching any questions, right? How you are answering any questions, right? So these things right, is must. So you have to present like psychology is for me, right? This is my life, right? And I don't have any plan B, right? You are here in this universe just because to be a good psychologist. You have to reflect this indirectly, and when they will be convinced कि master के बाद भी they are not going to drop this particular, there are many individuals just after the master they are not going right in this particular field, they are changing the field or they are just doing anything else. You have to reflect indirectly that this is your life, right? For whole life you are going to devote your whole life, right, to this particular profession. Then they will realize कि yes, you know, हम इसको training दे सकते हैं, because this will be a resource person for our country for their whole life, right? So you have to convince them indirectly that yes, this is the subject in which you want to be, you want to live, you know, this kind of life, like whenever you will become psychologist, right, you want to live that particular kind of life, and you will be in this particular field forever, right? So if you will be able to convince this, then definitely right chances will be higher to select you, because they want to select those individuals who are having attribute related to, you know, psychologist, as well as they also want to know कि right इसमें इतना strong passion है for the psychology कि ये पूरी life in their whole life they will be around this particular subject, right? So this is the thing.